Here he stands, tailored in the fabric of empire, draped in the insignia of power. His eyes steady, his posture immaculate. But if you look closely, there's something quietly uneasy in his expression. This is the portrait of Robert Stuart, 2nd Marquis of Londonderry, better known as Lord Castlereagh. Behind the polished surface lies the story of ambition, pain, internalized, inflicted, and a tragic end. Painted in 1809 to 1810 by Sir Thomas Lawrence, this oil-on canvas measuring approximately 74.3 to 61.6 centimeter now hangs in Room 3, Floor 3 of the National Portrait Gallery in London. Lord Castlereagh, with his coat dark and face illuminated, a visual claim to status and authority. Yet early critics weren't convinced. The writer William Hazlitt derided it as showing the prim smirking aspect of a haberdasher. The portrait itself was commissioned or purchased for around £45 by the Earl of Clancarty in early 1810, making this not only a depiction of power, but an artifact of political imagecraft. The faint fur collar, the crisp white waistcoat, the dark background suggesting both gravitas and isolation. All of it speaks to a man in full command, while hinting at the cost of wielding that command. So who was Lord Castlereagh? Robert Stuart was born in 1769. He was an Ulster-born aristocrat who carved his way into the heart of British politics, from Ireland's chief secretary during the 1798 rebellion to architect of the Act of Union in 1800. His early career was defined by force and negotiation. By 1812, he became Britain's foreign secretary at the height of the Napoleonic Wars. He helped shape the post-war European order at the Congress of Vienna in 1814. He stood at the table where borders, power, and peace were remade. But the life of high diplomacy was not without its shadows. Domestically, he faced brutal choices, the cruel suppression in Ireland, the Peterloo massacre aftermath, and bitter public scrutiny. As the responsibilities piled up, so did the toll. Now look back at the portrait. The painting itself signals prestige, yes, but also the weight of conflicts unresolved, of promises made, of power made in uncomfortable hands. So it's with that in September of 1822, Castlereagh, still serving as Foreign Secretary, walked into the terrace at the House of Commons and took his own life, slashing his throat with a dessert knife. He was only 53. His death stunned Britain and turned his life into a paradox of triumph and tragedy. The man who helped broker peace in Europe died amid turmoil at home and inside. The portrait becomes haunted by this fact. That composed exterior now reads as burdened, the gaze steady, yet strained. Art historians note the expression's complexity. The painting projects power while concealing turbulence. That tension is part of what keeps the image alive, its veneer of control masking what we now know was unraveling. In many ways, the portrait is like a mirror of ambition, service, sacrifice, and the human cost of bearing statesmanship. When you stand before it, you're not just looking at history, you're facing a moment of human fragility, captured in oil. But the thing that will always get me is his eyes. It's almost as if when the artist was painting him, he had already made that fateful decision. Let me leave you with a parable. I met a murderer on the way. He had a face like Castlereagh. Very smooth he looked, yet grim. 7 bloodhounds followed him. I don't know about you, but I love a good portrait. And this is probably one of my favorites.